All right, we're given two functions, f and g, and our job is to figure out where the slope of the tangent line to f is greater than the slope of the tangent line to g. That's to say, we're looking for where f prime of x is bigger than g prime of x. Well, in order to figure this out, I need to first take the derivatives of these two functions. So let's go ahead and do that. F prime of x equals, just using the power rule here, the 2 will come down in front, making 10x. The derivative of negative 21x to the 1, you can bring the 1 down in front to say we have negative 21x to the 0, but x to the 0 is 1. So we have 10x minus 21. How about the derivative of x cubed over 3? Now, a lot of people think I need to use quotient rule for this because I have a fraction bar and I have high over low, but I don't need to use the quotient rule anytime my denominator or my numerator is a constant. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this as 1/3 x to the third, and we can just see that 3 will come down as a coefficient, just as 1/3 were any other constant, and we reduce the power by 1. So g prime of x equals 3 times 1/3 is 1 times x squared. So I'm trying to figure out where this number is bigger than this number. That's going to be hard to do. So what I'm going to do to start things off to solve this inequality is get everything over to one side. So I'm going to subtract the 10x and add the 21 over from the left to the right to give me 0 is greater than x squared minus 10x plus 21. Now the next step is I should factor this expression, x minus 3 times x minus 7. What two values of x cause this thing to equal 0? I know we want this to be less than 0, but I want to find the values of x that cause this to be less than 0. So let's just start to figure out where it is equal to 0 for a moment. That would be x equals 3 and x equals 7. So let's draw a number line, mark down 3 and 7, and these will set up intervals that will tell us where f prime is bigger than g prime. Pick your favorite number larger than 7 for starters. I'm going to say 8. 8 seems simple enough. 8 minus 3 is 5. 8 minus 7 is 1. Positive 5 times positive 1 is a positive number, but that's not less than 0, so we're not going to choose this interval. How about the interval from 3 to 7? Your favorite number on that interval might be something like 4. When I plug in 4, I get 4 minus 3 is positive, but 4 minus 7 is negative, so I have a positive times a negative, which will be less than 0. So this interval works. And then lastly, I'm going to pick my favorite number less than 3. How about 0? 0 is always a good number to pick if it's in one of these intervals. Plugging in 0 gives me 0 minus 3 is negative. 0 minus 7 is also negative. 2 wrongs don't make a right, but 2 negatives do make a positive. So negative times a negative is a positive, and that is not less than 0. So we're going to get rid of that interval. So the only interval it seems that works is the interval from 3 to 7. How do I write that in interval notation? I'm going to say 3 comma 7 with parentheses around this. This denotes the interval from 3 to 7. And I don't want to include either endpoint because the tangent line at 3 and at 7 are the same at x equals 3 and x equals 7, so I'm not going to include those. And so I just have the interval from 3 to 7.